Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to congratulate the GCTF co-chairs and members with the 10th anniversary of the GCTF and with the new GCTF strategy vision for the next decade. The GCTF have proven to be a prominent political international platform of high relevance and importance with its action-oriented and collaboration approach. We highly appreciate the GCTF's ability to bring together a diverse group of member states to work on an area of common interest and concern and translate international good practices into implementations. The threat of terrorism and extremism persists. New concern, developments, and challenges have emerged, and so the GCTF is needed more than ever. Daesh might be military defeated in Syria and Iraq, but its ideology is in sentence. We need creative solutions to counter their ideology, whilst increasing community resilience. We must also step up our efforts to rehabilitate and reintegrate returning foreign terrorist fighters and their families members to break the cycle of violence. We must also step up our efforts to rehabilitate and integrate. Recent development in Afghanistan also concerning the question is not the only what this means for Afghan and its people, but also how it's affect terrorist and violent extremism network across the world and could influence the solution in neighboring countries and regions. The rise of the radical right or racially and ethnically motivated violent extremism will also remain a growing and a serious concern in many parts of the world. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, Hedayah has continued to generate a real impact. We developed the first blueprint to help countries rehabilitate and reintegrate foreign terrorist fighters and their family members. We are now supporting the Maldives in setting its own rehabilitation and reintegration center, which will have a major impact across the region. We are finalizing in depth the analysis of the region ISIS file related to how they use their educational system to indoctrinate children and young people under their control. It came with recommendation on how to use these insights for communication and educational effort and for rehabilitation and integration of these foreign terrorist fighters and their family. We continue our work to support and build the capacity of local civil actors in Central Asia and Western Balkans. The increase for instant resilience against radicalization in 125 schools, reaching 115,000 students in Central Asia and Western Balkans was one of our initiatives. We also finalized 9 country reports on radical right narrative and now testing the effectiveness of the counter message to gain empirical evidence and which will be shared with the CV community. We also started the implementation of an innovative strategy communication program to counter narrative in Tunisia and Tajikistan and continue our flagship work on supporting families identify and address violent extremism within their communities. We have continued to support frontline practitioners, including social workers, teachers, psychologists, on how to support families and vulnerable youth and strengthen education to prevent violent extremism. We are also consolidating data and trends on the actual impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on violent extremism. We thank our partners, donors, for their contribution and their support for Hedayah. And what I want to emphasize actually that, after 10 years of working within the GCTF, I urge you to focus on prevention while countering extremism. Because, from our experience, what we counter that while we engage with countering extremism, sometimes we miss so many things. But if we do focus on prevention, we won't miss that. And an example of that, while we all were working on the defeat of ISIS in Iraq and Syria, suddenly we found ISIS that they are very active in Africa, in Central Asia, and in Afghanistan. Hedayah is a think and do tank. Hedayah is your center. We think globally and act locally. I urge you to use Hedayah whenever you see that we will meet your agenda. Thank you very much.